welcome to Thai PBS English News Service. I'm Subhajang Prinswan. Today marks the completion of the Pheu Thai-led administration's first year in office. And since the election, the government has been heavily criticized on many fronts, particularly on its populist programs. As many academics and businesses are worried about how these policies will affect the Thai economy amidst a slowdown in the world economy. At the same time, the public also thinks that the government has not been successful at solving corruption or the rising cost of living.
An opinion poll taken to evaluate the government's policies during its first year in office by the University of the Thai Chamber of Commerce showed the Pheu Thai-led administration narrowly scoring a passing mark. The public gave the government 5.47 points out of 10 on its success at delivering policies, while business operators gave 6.28 points on the government's overall performance. State programs to develop basic infrastructure and enhance tourism are the two policies the public rated as successful. On the other hand, the government received barely a passing mark on economic policies. The government's efforts to combat corruption, the one-tablet PC per child scheme, and the war on drugs received the lowest scores. The survey noted that what the public would like the government to work on the most is the problem of the rising cost of living. Meanwhile, at the seminar 1 Year Yingluck Government and the Future of the Thai Economy, Kitirat Naranong, Deputy Prime Minister, admitted that the government is unable to meet its export growth target of 15%, but it will raise to stimulate other sectors of the Thai economy through the end of the year, in place of the contraction in exports. The private sector, however, is of the opinion that the Pheu Thai-led administration passed the test when solving overall economic problems, while enduring natural calamities and a slowdown in the world economy. Academics said that the populist policies, which have been implemented throughout the government's 1 year in office, are not sustainable and do not reflect the true living conditions of the public. The academics also mentioned that these populist programs have placed a burden on the state budget and risk affecting the country's financial discipline, which can hurt Thailand's economy in the long run.
And after a 1 year of the Pheu Thai party government, its populist policies such as the rice pledging scheme and the minimum wage rise has been widely debated. Dr. Rungtip Chodnapalai spoke to Associate Professor Suganda Lewis from the Faculty of Economics at Chulalongkorn University, who believes that the government should reconsider its policies to see if they represent worthwhile spending and do anything towards economic sustainability.
It has been exactly 1 year of the Pheu Thai government. You think that any policy or any schemes that should be reconsidered?
The most important one is the rice pledge program. The loss from this program is estimated to be 100,000 million baht. This is huge. And the cost from this program could increase the debt per GDP ratio of Thailand.
That apart from the rice pledging scheme, you think that other scheme or other policies of this government that should be further implemented?
When we talk about budget, we need to think about what kind of budget we want to have, what kind of expenditure we want to have. Any expenditure that is for consumption is not going to build Thailand, okay? And it's not going to increase Thailand's competitiveness. So all the expenditure that we should really have more concern is for investment.
So investment in terms of infrastructure or education or in any particular area that you think that we should be spending?
I think that the first one, it should be on infrastructure. But we have to be careful about the corruption issues, okay? Because we can see that in the next year there'll be huge investment. The second one is for education. That is the way we develop our own human resources for the country. And also we have to think about the long term, which is when people are aging, you need to think about how do we deal with the aging society.
The Anti-Corruption Network has expressed concerns over some state enterprises that are currently operating in the red due to the problem of graft. Academics stress that a plan to combat corruption has to be enacted at national, institutional, and business levels while eliminating political intervention. Sangsit Priyarangsan, Dean of the College of Social Innovation of Rangsit University, commented that the problem of corruption in Thailand has now taken to become systematic, meaning that corruption, which is common in politics, economics, businesses, and the civil sector, included more nepotism and the use of political ranks and power as a tool. This creates a group of privileged people in society, hence leading to a consolidation of power in national management as well as political dominance. Sangsit said the Prime Minister must fight corruption of all kinds at the national level, which can be done through reforming the economic structure, eliminating poverty, promoting education, stop intervention in the markets, and cease encroaching on independent agencies that keep checks and balances in place. At the institutional level, laws and regulations covering related agencies such as the National Anti-Corruption Commission and the Office of the Election Commission have to be scrutinized more effectively, with more public participation and no political intervention. The business sector, on the other hand, must not condone acts of corruption and should support educational institutions and international bodies in the fight against graft. Mana Nimit Mongkon, director of the Anti-Corruption Network, expressed concerns over corruption in 57 state enterprises, which have a combined investment budget of over 270 billion baht and profits of no less than 80 billion baht per year. These state enterprises lack efficiency in their operations and operate with high costs that lead to deficits, which affect the country's finances. A Pheu Thai MP was caught on tape allegedly talking about encroaching into a national park. The House's Natural Resources and Environment Committee is calling for an investigation into that matter. Chalong Rieo Rang, Nonthaburi's Pheu Thai MP, was caught on a recording talk about encroaching into some 10 hectares of rich forest land in Khao Lam National Park in Kanchanaburi Province. Opposition MP Narit Khamnurak, as head of the Natural Resources and Environment Committee, says the conflict heard in the audio clip between him and Charoen Jaichon, a former director of Khao Lam National Park, may be the reason and evidence why Charoen was transferred to a central office in Bangkok. Chalong admitted earlier that the voice heard in the clip was his, but denied any acts of corruption. He claims he was acting as a middleman, clearing disputes between a former director of Khao Lam National Park and his friend. The House's Natural Resources and Environment Committee is calling for a full investigation into the matter. The Director General of the Department of National Parks, Wildlife and Plant Conservation says Charoen's transfer had nothing to do with any possible disputes with government MPs. It is just a normal annual rotation of the staff. And director of the neighboring countries' cooperation unit has told Thai PBS that Malaysia should be more sincere in helping eradicate violence from the Deep South. Next month, Thailand will propose a new cooperation treaty to replace the current version, which is signed in 1965. Before giving an exclusive interview to Thai PBS's Top Jot program, General Akanit Moon Sawat, head of the neighboring countries' cooperation unit at the Department of Borders Affairs, told Thai PBS that next month his team will invite Malaysian authorities to join their equivalents to revise the Border Cooperation Treaty. He said that the 5-decade-old treaty is not helping the Thai side to stop southern unrest. Drug trafficking, insurgency, and the arms trade along the border are close to impossible to eradicate, according to General Akanit, as he claims culprits have access to hiding places to repair their illegal activities outside Thai territory. He says a new treaty is needed to solve these problems, while KL should also be more sincere in providing help to solve transnational problems along the border. Meanwhile, Pattani police revealed that 10 culprits who burned down a car showroom on Tuesday destroying 15 brand new cars were recorded on closed-circuit TV. But the ski masks they were wearing were making it next to impossible to identify them. The insurance company which covers the Honda showroom says that the showroom cannot claim compensation because terrorist attacks are not covered in the insurance policy. A young anonymous mother left her one-day-old baby in an apartment with a note of apologies that she could not take care of him. The unfortunate infant is just one of the hundreds of born to mothers who are too young to have no means of supporting the poor child. Police say that abandoning the baby in the XP apartment building near La Prao Hospital means the mother has committed a crime and will be arrested if found. However, Nataya Bunpakdi, the coordinator of the Women's Health Advocacy Foundation, says that this problem should be analyzed from sociological perspective.
At this case, in humanity perspective, because this is just a girl, just a teenage who are in trouble. She has an unplanned pregnancy, and she has no one to help her out of the problem, and she committed to do this out of her, she's not happy to do this.
According to statistics published by Thailand's Ministry of Health, there are over 336 cases per day, or about 100,000 cases per year, of teenage pregnancies. Naya Bunpakdi suggested that the relevant ministries should come together and develop a solution to help these young women rather than punishing them as criminals, and implement a preventive strategy.
Come to the conclusion that we can't stop people from having sex, but we can, as the government, they can provide their citizens with, information and tools to protect themselves from unsafe sex or, even unsafe abortion. Is a kind of service that the society needs it right now.
She also says that the increasing number of teen pregnancies could be due to increased exposure to sexual interaction. The problem that they are raised in shy culture does not provide them with knowledge about the potential impact of sexual activity, especially in youngster years. Northern provinces are bracing themselves in case of floods this year by joining the government's SMS disaster warning service. The ICT Ministry staff is educating residents in Phichit province about how to communicate via SMS in case Bangkok wishes to warn them of approaching floods. Village chiefs, some of which are not familiar with the short message service, say if these methods take it easier and faster to communicate, they will adopt to the scheme. The government was severely criticized for not being able to provide accurately and timely information during last year's massive floods, which led to significant loss of life and property. Meanwhile, every region and province in this kingdom is now facing a 60 to 70% chance of rain as a monsoon thaw lies across the north and upper northeast, combined with a moderate southwest monsoon prevailing over the Andaman Sea and the Gulf of Thailand. Today, Taiwanese authorities have evacuated more than 3,000 residents from mountainous areas as a powerful typhoon approached the island and threatened to drop torrential rains that could unleash deadly landslides.
This afternoon, the Central Weather Bureau in Taiwan said Typhoon Tembin was located about 210 kilometers off Taitung County in southeastern Taiwan, packing winds of 155 kilometers per hour. The Bureau said the slow-moving Tembin would probably make landfall around noon tomorrow and predicted up to 1 meter of rainfall in several eastern counties of Taiwan. In Yilan, large waves pounded the coast early today and beaches were closed. Fishermen spent the working day on dry land. In eastern Hualien County, Taiwan's military helped evacuate residents from villages, mindful of a devastating typhoon 3 years ago that took 700 lives. The military said thousands of soldiers equipped with rubber boats and amphibious vehicles have been put on alert to help with relief efforts in areas impacted by Tembin's fury. The authorities closed schools and ordered workers home in the city of Hualien, where all flights were cancelled. Schools were closed in Taitung and in parts of Kaohsiung County in the south. And outdoor events to mark a special Taiwanese Valentine's Day today were cancelled. Hugh Adams, Thai PBS.
And Thai PBS is recruiting reporters who would wish to work for Thai PBS English News Service. And if you are interested and you'd like to have more information, please visit our website, thaipbs.or.th, or email us at job@thaipbs.or.th. We'll reply with a job description. Therefore, you can reply once again with a CV. That's all the time we have for tonight. I'm Subhajang Suwan. สวัสดีครับ